Alrighty, yo, what is going on? Everybody, it's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. Today we're going to react to the decline of Reebok. What happened to Reebok? This is by the brother, the company man. This is by the brother that goes over the companies, the analytics, and why they fell off, or how they rose up and became the juggernaut that they are. We're going to see the decline of Reebok. It ain't no question that Reebok was one of the GOATs, but I can't really pinpoint what really happened to Reebok. Reebok was really winning at this time. The last notable thing Reebok was doing in the game was they had fucking 50 Cent. I remember the G units. Y'all niggas was rocking them G units and them Sean Carters. Y'all was rocking them G units and them Sean Carters. I didn't rock them. I ain't fuck with them. My mama bought me a pair of Sean Carters. I ain't wear them bitches. I had Jordans and Nikes for days. I ain't wear them bitches. I ain't like them shits. But she made me wear them one time though. I was mad. I was like, man, I don't want to wear these shits. I was like, if I was gonna wear some Reeboks, I want some Iverson. She was like, no, you gonna wear them Sean Carters. I don't even like Jay-Z like that. Oh man. But anyways though, without further ado, let's get right into it. Yeah.
I think that we need a refresher on Reebok, because I'd say that they've fallen on some tough times. They haven't been relevant for 10, 15 years. Most would argue that their peak was 20, 30 years ago. They're just not cool today, not like they used to be. Very few people are bragging about buying their new pair of Reeboks.
I mean, you can get you a pair of Iversons. That's about as good as it's gonna get. Like, you could rock a pair of Iversons. That's about it. But, I mean, outside of the Iversons, ain't nobody... Outside of the Iversons and probably a few Shaqs, ain't nobody really rocking Reeboks like that.
A good portion of their sales now comes from their line of classic shoes, which I'm sure they'd spin it in a different way, but it's really just a way of capitalizing on their former popularity. They were so big and so awesome before that the best way they can sell shoes today is to remind everyone of those good times. Let me highlight some of those good times. In 1988...
No, it's because now people can actually afford their fucking shoes. That's really what it is. Now we can afford the shoes. Back then, you couldn't really afford the shoes. They would charge an arm and a leg for a pair of Iversons and some Shaqs. Nowadays, you can get them shits for like $100 to $80. Shit, that ain't nothing.
Reebok was said to be the #1 athletic brand in the United States and #2 throughout the world, behind only Adidas. In the world of basketball, at times, arguably, it was the biggest brand out there.
Yeah.
In 1992, they signed a young, up-and-coming NBA player named Shaquille O'Neal to an endorsement contract, meaning that one of the greatest basketball players ever to play the game spent a good portion of his career backing Reebok. In 1996, they did the same thing with a young player named Allen Iverson. Then in 2001, they signed a deal with the NBA, making them the exclusive supplier of the uniforms for most of the teams, and a couple years later, it was extended to every team. So if you watch any NBA...
The Reebok era of the jerseys is arguably the best era. I'ma just go out and say what it is. The Reebok era of NBA jerseys is the best jerseys. Hands down. I know people like the Nike jerseys with the swoosh, but to be honest with you, the Reebok version of NBA jerseys is 10 times better, way more legendary. I will always hold the Reebok version of NBA jerseys to a very high standard. Mainly because those were some of the best jerseys to come out. And they had cotton jerseys, they had mesh jerseys, they had silk jerseys. Remember 06, them 06 Miami boys, them 06 Miami with Dwayne Wade and Shaq, and they had them red alternate jerseys, and it was just pure silk. Oh my god. Oh man, I wanted that jersey so bad. I wanted that jersey so fucking bad. I wanted the silk jerseys, bro. I always wanted one of those silk jerseys, bro. I don't care what anybody say, bro. The Reebok version of NBA jerseys is the best one. If you say the Nike ones are the best one, I will slap the shit out of you. If you say the Adidas ones are the best ones, I'm going to slap the shit out of you. If you say the champion or the starter Okay, you got me there on the champion and the starter jerseys. The champion NBA jerseys and the starter champion and the starter NBA jerseys. You got me there because that was back in the 90s. That's when they had them fire ass jerseys. The fire ass startups, the fire ass jerseys. All right, you got me there. But the Reeboks, which was pretty much around this time frame of the 2000s, I want to say from from like 2001 to I want to say 2007, because after 2007, Adidas took over and became like the supplier for NBA jerseys. Because I remember, because that's when the Bucks changed to that weak ass red and green jerseys, and that shit was terrible, bro. I hated that. That era alone is just forgettable. The only good thing I think that came out of that era was probably like Brandon Jennings and us getting Monte Ellis for like a couple of years. That was it. After that, you could throw that shit away. And we ain't the jerseys we got now. That's the Giannis era jerseys. And let's just say that's been the best fucking era so far.
NBA game from, say, 2003. All the uniforms were made by Reebok.
Yeah.
Looking at the world of football.
Oh, yeah, football. Oh, definitely NFL. Definitely NFL Reebok had the best fucking jerseys. Best fucking jerseys of all time. In the NFL version. The NFL Reebok jerseys, best. Top of the top, creme de la creme. It's not even close. Y'all niggas only value the jersey because they got a Nike swoosh on it. But y'all don't realize that Reebok and them was making some of the most fire jerseys around this time. Silk jerseys, mesh jerseys, cotton jerseys. Like, yo, they made some of the best fucking jerseys, bro. It was Reebok, hands down. But y'all sit up here and try to act like fucking Nike made the best ones because they got the fucking swoosh on it. No, you just don't understand. There was more material to them. There were better designs. What make you think I'm gonna buy a fucking Nike jersey? What make you think I'm gonna buy a Nike NBA jersey with the swoosh all right here and a goddamn endorsement on the other side? You really think I want to wear that? You really think I want to endorse somebody else with the Nike swoosh? Like, no, I don't want to see the Nike swoosh. I don't want to see the endorsement. The only thing I want to see is the NBA patch. That's the only thing that made your jersey official was the NBA patch. Nobody wanted, bro. That's why I have so much high regard for the Reebok jerseys, bro. Because all you needed was that NBA patch for your shit to be valid.
Numerous endorsements around that time, and again, they were the exclusive supplier of their uniforms.
Facts.
That deal included all of the replica jerseys and a lot of the other NFL clothing. So, for years, Reebok supplied all the uniforms to two of the largest sports leagues in the United States. It wasn't contained to that either. They had major involvement in basically any sport. For the Olympics in 1996, held in Atlanta, Reebok claims that 1/3 of all the athletes were wearing their stuff. It was even outside of sports. Survivor. Yep. That show was insanely popular when it debuted, and Reebok was a sponsor that provided all their clothes and shoes for the cast and crew. I think I've proven my point. From the late 80s to the early 2000s, Reebok was everywhere. Yet today, they're practically non-existent in any major sports league, or anywhere really. So let's look closer into this brand and try to figure out what happened. Reebok goes way back and has a few different beginnings. It actually has roots going back to 1890s England. It was started by this guy named J.W. Foster, who named the company after himself. Then, in the 1950s, two of his grandsons started their own shoe company that specialized in running shoes that was called Reebok, and eventually took over the company that their grandfather had started. But comparatively, all of that is small stuff. 1979 is when big things started to happen. That's when Reebok took some of their running shoes and showed them off in a sporting goods show in Chicago. Attending this show was a man involved in the business of camping supplies named Paul Fireman. He was impressed by the shoes Reebok was offering, stayed in touch, and within a few months acquired the rights to sell their shoes in the United States. Things weren't very fast at first, as should be expected. To raise money, he even ended up selling over half of his company to a separate British shoemaker with the condition that he would remain in charge. In 1982, everything changed when they found their market. See, in that year, aerobics was becoming a huge fad, and Reebok saw an opportunity. And if you don't know, aerobics is all this stuff. Jane Fonda was known for popularizing it, and eventually everyone was putting out their own tapes. Reebok's idea was, if you want to sell running shoes, there's a lot of competition, but if you want to sell aerobic shoes, you'd be just about the only one. So, they released the first ever shoe where the design, the materials, the fit, the appearance were all specifically made for aerobics. The shoe was called Freestyle. Initially, they paired it with a promotion offering free classes with Richard Simmons, and it just put them on the map. Over the next few years, they had millions in sales, primarily due to these shoes. And remember, to this point, Reebok is still a small shoe company in England. All of this success was happening in the United States, where Paul Fireman had the rights to sell their shoes. So in 1984, the US company bought the initial Reebok company for $700,000. Then, famously, in 1985, Sybil Shepherd, a big celebrity at the time, wore them to the Emmys, apparently indicating that they had made their way into women's fashion. In the next year, 1986, here's what I suspect happened. They looked at their sales mix and saw that they were doing really well when it came to women's aerobic shoes, but not really anything else. Those shoes made up almost half their sales the year before, and they were nervous about being so reliant on one particular market, especially when they suspected that the whole aerobics thing may have been a bit of a fad, which we now know it basically was, and that meant that at any moment their sales could have a significant drop, and they'd be mostly unable to control it. With all of these concerns, they felt pressure to utilize their name recognition and other resources to diversify. They expanded into just about every other market that made sense. All in 1986, they started making sports clothing, not just shoes, but actual clothing, sports accessories, a line of children's shoes with a name that I can't say without laughing. Here it goes. REEBOK. And we can't forget the basketball shoes. Also, in 1986, the logo changed. It used to be, I guess, just the Union Jack, the British flag, but they felt that this one was more active and better reflected the athletic image that they were trying to promote. The following year, they introduced walking shoes, tennis shoes, golf shoes, becoming really popular in all of it, meaning that they were now selling to men, women, children, a variety of products for a variety of activities. I would call that diversified. They also started acquiring other companies. In 1987 alone, they bought 4 other large shoemakers. And like I said, 1 year later, in 1988, all of these efforts made them the #1 athletic brand in the country with $1.79 billion in sales. And where would I be if I didn't mention this? In 1989, they introduced the Reebok Pump. You actually pump up the shoe, and the padding inflates, theoretically making it more comfortable and form-fitting. It's a little before my time, but I've always seen it as more of a gimmick than anything else. Let me know if you think otherwise. But by the way, here's a clip from the 1991 NBA Slam Dunk Contest.
Oh, he's pumping his shoes up.
He put the things on the map. He put the things on the map. Then John Cena brought him back.
By Dominique Wilkins and Shaq, and I guess just pop culture in general. Then I guess I've already talked about where they went from here. Endorsements, Olympics. In '97 they had the DMX series, league contracts, Survivor. I'm not going to say it was all perfect. They've always had identity issues concerning whether they're a sports brand, strictly a fitness brand, a fashion brand. All of those companies that they acquired had different images. In 1992 they introduced a casual line called Box, but then in 1994 they announced they were transitioning strictly into a sports brand. Maybe it's because they became so successful so fast from so many different customers that they never had the chance to find their identity. So that may have held them back, but obviously not too much. Then we can't ignore Nike. Back in 1988 when Reebok was #1, Nike wasn't as much of a concern, but then they became huge, and that's bad for Reebok.
Jordan
you have to
took off.
consider that Nike was already huge in 2001 when Reebok was landing all of these league contracts.
Yep.
The NBA and the NFL went with Reebok instead, so the emergence of Nike may have pushed them from #1, but it didn't take them off the list. Here's Reebok's revenue, ranging from their #1 spot in 1988 all the way to 2004. Now, the entire market grew, and if you were to collect data concerning market share, it would probably reflect something different, though their core market was always changing and questionable at times, but this is useful. Obviously, a big drop there may be caused by some of the factors I mentioned, but the fact fact is, 2004 was their best-selling year. The data stops there because in 2005, all of Reebok was bought by Adidas. It cost them $3.8 billion, which was a 34% premium based on their stock price. The whole idea behind this acquisition was that Nike was just so far ahead, maybe combining these two will just help them catch up. So much for that plan, because starting about right here, Reebok sales have really gone down. It's been the perception of many people, including myself, that Adidas has been promoting their own brand and just allowing Reebok to fail. It's hard to do comparisons of before and after the acquisition because everything's mixed together now and reported in euros since Adidas is from Germany, but here's my attempt. Using an approximate exchange rate from 2004, the Reebok sales from their last independent year equate to about 2.9 billion euros. In their first full year with Adidas in 2006, Reebok sales were reportedly just under 2.5 billion euros. That's a pretty significant decrease, and consider it was coming off of a growth period. In 2018, that number was well below 1.7 billion, but sales from Adidas branded products have tripled over that span.
Oh yeah, around this time, this had to be the Yeezy brand era. Well, Yeezy started up in like 2015, I believe. But yeah, this is when the Yeezy brand took off. So yeah, hell yeah. But like the Reebok brand around this time, hell no, they wasn't doing nothing. I think around 2018, they was just re-releasing Iverson shoes, bro. This is around this time frame because at first they started off with Shaq, and the Shaqs did good the first year, and then they tried to come out with more Shaqs the second year, and it wasn't hitting because it was like, yo, get them Shaqs up out of here, bro. Like we get it, bro. Them Shaqs was fire, but do something else. It was like they put the Iversons out, and they just been holding on to the Iverson wave, even though they won't release any of his other shoes that were fire. They keep only releasing his first shoe in different colorways. I don't get that. I don't get why they won't release his other shoes, because Iverson has some fire shoes. They won't release the ones he wore when he won MVP, the ones he wore in the finals. Like, come on, Chief. Iverson got plenty of fucking shoes other than his first pair. I understand his first pair was a fire design, and nobody's saying that the first pair of Iversons weren't the design ain't fire. It's just like, yo, y'all overdoing it.
In 2006, 27% of their total revenue was from Reebok, and in 2018, that was down to 8%. There's so many variables that contribute to that, but maybe it could mean that the company has been focused on Adidas and willing to sacrifice Reebok. More potential evidence is that NBA contract. Reebok made a 10-year deal with the NBA in 2001, meaning it was meant to extend through 2011. Well, I don't know the exact legality of it, but when Reebok was bought by Adidas, it somehow allowed for changes.
Oh yeah,
in that
Adidas
contract.
took over.
The end result was in 2006, not even a year after the acquisition, Adidas signed an 11-year contract with the NBA to sponsor them and supply their uniforms. So effectively, everything shifted from Reebok to Adidas. It makes me think that Adidas was more interested in promoting their own brand rather than Reebok. They effectively took away 5 years of NBA promotion, which for a brand like this is significant. In 2014, the Reebok logo changed for a second time. It's now this delta symbol meant to represent change. It's reflecting how they want to be seen as more of a fitness brand as opposed to a fashion or sports brand. Change, like getting
garbage.
into shape, I suppose. The way I
hate
see
this
this
logo.
is they're
I hate
bringing
this
up
logo.
CrossFit has been their new emphasis, along with yoga and still aerobics. Remember in the 80s, they exploded because they were able to transition from a very specific fitness market into a much more general market of sports. Well, this is the exact opposite, from sports back to fitness. It just seems that whenever there's an opportunity in sports, Adidas would prefer if Adidas had it. So they've pushed Reebok back into their corner where there's less confliction. For years, there's been these rumors and conversation about Adidas potentially selling Reebok. I'm not alone in my theory, and many people think that Reebok's best chance in succeeding is pulling away from Adidas. In June of 2019, Shaquille O'Neal, the Diesel himself, who has a long history with Reebok, expressed interest in buying the brand.
Which he ended
O'Neal
up
said
doing.
He wants to buy the athletic giant because he dislikes how its current owner, Adidas, has diluted the brand so much to where it's almost gone. I don't know if he can afford it, nor do I really see this happening.
No, he got it now. I listen, bro. I'm happy that Shaq got Reebok, but you need to involve Iverson into this mix. You need to involve Iverson into this mix. I feel like it's only fair. That man helped build that brand after you, because you did end up leaving that brand because somebody broke ass mama convinced you to leave millions of dollars. I wish I would. I get it though. You a good person. Shaq's a good person at heart. Let's not get it twisted. Shaq is a good person at heart. But I wish I would leave hundreds of millions of dollars on the fucking table because somebody broke ass mama mad because my shoes cost too much fucking money. I ain't in control of that. That's not my problem. Take that up with Reebok. The fuck you coming at me for, bitch? That's what I would have did. That's just me though. I don't give a fuck. I ain't got no empathy for nobody. If I'm making money, fuck you. It's just that simple, bro. Fuck you. You broke bitch. You want some free shoes? Here, bitch. Fuck out my face.
Anyway, but it shows
I wish
his
I
thoughts on
would.
the state of the brand. Let me know in the comments, is there any hope for Reebok? Are they going to come back in a big way? Are they going to go away completely?
Well, it depends on what Shaq decides to do with the brand going forward now. Like I said, you need to get Iverson involved. Iverson definitely needs to be involved. This is his brand too. He held this brand down longer than Shaq did. If it was up, I wish Iverson could be the main owner of the brand, or they could have gave the brand to Iverson and let him run it. But I understand you need a business mind, so Shaq is the perfect guy for this job, if we being honest. But I'm just keeping it real with y'all. I think that Shaq should buy the company, but Iverson should be heavily involved because Iverson made Reebok. It's not even up for debate. If you say Iverson didn't make Reebok, don't say shit to me. And also, they need to re-release the jerseys from back in the time when they was from the NFL and the NBA. They need to re-release those jerseys, bro, for real. Those silk jerseys, those cotton jerseys, those mesh jerseys. Release them all, bro. Re-release them all, bro, from those time periods, bro. From the time period where Reebok was running shit, bro. We really need to go back to that. Because Reebok had the best jerseys of all time, and it's not even close. But anyway, so let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. I'll get back to you till then. Peace out.